McDonald's beef goes on.
Shh, be very, very quiet.
What's up, Doc?
I'm hunting for the sharpest VCR picture.
Then what are you doing over there? Sony Super Beta has a picture like real life.
American Airlines invites you to experience life's greatest beach, Waikiki.
Something special in the air.
Let me share with you a vision of the future which offers hope. It is that we embark on a program to counter the awesome Soviet missile threat with measures that are defensive. Let us turn to the very strengths in technology that spawned our great industrial base and that have given us the quality of life we enjoy today. What if free people could live secure in the knowledge that their security did not rest upon the threat of instant U.S. retaliation to deter a Soviet attack, that we could intercept and destroy strategic ballistic missiles before they reached our own soil or that of our allies? I know this is a formidable technical task, one that may not be accomplished before the end of this century. Yet current technology has attained a level of sophistication where it's reasonable for us to begin this effort. Proceeding boldly with these new technologies, we can significantly reduce any incentive that the Soviet Union may have to threaten attack against the United States or its allies.
Here, an artist's projection of the president's vision.
Banning into space, a layered defense to protect the country from nuclear devastation. U.S. spy satellites would watch the world below, detect Soviet missiles blasting off, compute the position and speed of each missile, alert battle stations in space, on Earth. The first response, space-based kinetic energy weapons fire high-speed projectiles from hypervelocity guns, intercepting enemy missiles as they are boosted through the atmosphere. Popped up into space, Earth-based nuclear-powered X-ray lasers fire their radioactive rays. Attack rays from land-based excimer lasers are redirected by huge mirrors orbiting in space. Chemical lasers fire beams that burn through the shell of the onrushing missile. Particle beam weapons with pulsing rays join the attack. Earth-based lasers and ABM rockets eliminate the last warheads.
David Sands, a married man aged 37 and recently returned from holiday, had stacked 10 gallons of petrol in the boot of his Maestro car. He then drove it at more than 80 miles per hour into a disused roadside cafe near Basingstoke. Colleagues and family say he had been depressed, and police are working on the theory that he deliberately crashed the car. Sands was said to be a brilliant scientist and had just finished a 3-year contract working on top-secret radar systems. It's the latest incident involving scientists working for the Marconi Group. Last year, Vinal Dajubai from Kenton and Ashad Sharif from East London were found dead near Bristol. Families say they don't believe it was suicide. Then in January, Avtar Singh Gita disappeared near Loughborough University, where he was working on a similar defence project.
The basic elements of what we know do add up, I agree, to very much like the plot of a television thriller. That surely entitles the public to know what is going on.
It's a story so rich in intrigue that if it were fiction, it would likely be a bestseller, because all of the dead, almost 24 to date, worked in Western Europe's defense industry.
And the deaths, some bizarre by any standards, have been scattered across the continent. Only by chance did the pattern emerge. But the question is obvious. Is this all just coincidence, or has international espionage produced a string of murders?
The mystery begins here in picturesque Bristol, England. In August 1986, Vimal Dajubai, a 24-year-old computer scientist, drove his car to this 200-foot-high suspension bridge. He walked out along the edge. then he jumped to his death. Or was he pushed? Dajabai had left no suicide note. When his body was recovered, initial police reports noted a strange puncture mark on his thigh. But the case passed virtually unnoticed. Then one night about a month later, on this hill overlooking Bristol, another young computer scientist, Ashad Sharif, working for the same company, tied a rope around a tree, wrapped the other end around his neck, then got back into his car and pushed the accelerator to the floor. Dajabai and Sharif were both working for Marconi, one of Britain's top defense contractors. As reporters began digging, they discovered what seemed to be a pattern of unusual and often bizarre deaths of scientists, engineers, and computer experts in the defense industry. The prestigious London Sunday Times documented a total of 22 mysterious deaths and disappearances. One of the earliest and most puzzling was the 1982 death of Professor Keith Bowden, a brilliant computer scientist who did secret work for the Ministry of Defense. His death has always seemed suspicious to his family.
This was not an accidental death. There is, I feel, some form of conspiracy by somebody. Whether it is one side or the other side, I know not. The purpose of it, I know not.
As this reenactment suggests, Bowden was driving home from a dinner party when his new Rover slammed into a ditch. The road was clear, and friends say Bowden had not been drinking. Discrepancies in the police report led Bowden's widow to hire a private investigator who told her that the tires on her husband's new car had been changed.
These are the tires.
Someone had replaced them with old and dangerous tires.
These are not the tires that would have been on the Rover. They're a different sort of tire, and you can see how badly worn they are. They're smooth, and here they're worn right down to the fabric.
That's worn completely through the tread.
Completely through.
And this wear could not have happened from the accident, from the burning of the tire?
No, no, no.
You believe this was not an accident?
No, that wasn't an accident. Got me an accident with those things on his car, can it?
Since 1982, 4 other British defense scientists have been killed in unexplained car crashes.
He never talked about anything at home.
In this quiet English garden, yet another macabre death.
This was his tool shed, his garden shed.
Right, it's in a bit of a mess at the moment.
Mary Beckham found her husband, Alistair, electrocuted in his garden shed.
This is where you found the body.
That's right.
Beckham was a happily married man with 3 beautiful daughters and had worked for years for a large defense contractor called Plessy Naval Systems. He was an engineer, but in 17 years of marriage, he never told his wife exactly what kind of work he did. Mrs. Beckham finds it impossible to believe that he would walk into this shed after pruning the trees, wrap bare wire around his arm, and flick on the 220-volt current.
He had pinned a fuse with a paper clip and had a handkerchief stuffed into his mouth.
Just a few hours after his death, as in other cases we were told about, men showed up to remove confidential defense documents from his home. Bombings and assassinations in Europe directed at NATO research targets have added to the speculation that something sinister is going on. In Germany in 1986, the research director at Siemens Electronics, a large company doing SDI, or Star Wars research, was killed by a terrorist bomb. Later, there were bombings at 2 more German laboratories doing SDI work. One very senior member of that high-tech defense research community was John Ferry, another Marconi employee. Ferry's widow says he flew to NATO headquarters in Brussels every 2 weeks to chair an important NATO research committee. And a few years ago, he was the British military's top research and development man in Washington. Of all the deaths we examined, his was probably the most gruesome.
I mean, did you know the way in which he killed himself? I mean, he actually took 2 electrodes and taped them. He had some black sticky tape to his molars where he'd got fillings in his teeth, stoppings. So it was metal on metal, like that. I mean, it was an extraordinary thing to do.
Mrs. Ferry contends that if you look closely at any large industry, you'd find a comparable suicide rate. But a suicide expert we talked to says there's something unusual here.
A number of these deaths do not appear to fit the pattern that you would expect from people of this background.
Meaning no suicide note?
No suicide note. Some of the deaths, and in 2 in particular, are very, very bizarre.
Absent any severe mental disorder, any mental illness, how do you explain such bizarre methods?
Well, I can't, other than perhaps to quote dear old Hamlet when he says, "Methinks there's something rotten in the state of Denmark."
Journalist Tony Collins points out that stress cannot explain all of the deaths. He cites the case of Peter People, who did secret research at the Royal Military College. 2 years ago, after an enjoyable evening playing Trivial Pursuit with friends, his wife found him dead beneath his car in the locked garage. The engine was running, his head directly under the exhaust. But police said it was impossible to get into that position with the garage door closed.
Why he would kill himself is absolutely baffling. I don't think you can say that stress is a contributory factor in all the cases. Obviously, stress must play a part in some of them. But I don't think any of these cases lend themselves to a single, easy explanation.
What do you think happened?
I don't know what happened. I wish I knew.
Do you think your husband committed suicide?
No. No, I don't. No.
Do you think you'll ever know what happened?
I doubt it. I hope I will, but I don't believe I ever will.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh, Lord. I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there, and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. I can